YouTubers and Ghostbusters, friends and family of the Red Cup Review. I want to tell everybody thanks for joining us, thanks for coming back, and for those that haven't subscribed, please do so. Today we're looking at the Mezco 112 Collective Ghostbusters box set, and this is pretty much everything that's laid out in front of you. You guys know what it comes with. We want to get you guys to the review as quickly as possible, so here it goes. Let's get right down to it. We're here for the head sculpts, and they're hit and miss. This sculpt, all the sculpts are very well done for what they are. They're obviously in 6-inch form, so they're not going to pick up that super detail that, let's say, a Hot Toy or the Blitzway Ghostbusters will. But the hairline is actually quite perfect on Peter here. He's got no bleed off of his hairline into his face. The lips are not too pink. They're not too red. He even has his trademark. I'm trying to catch it here with the light ever so slightly. Right over here, Bill Murray has a scar on his face. That is actually quite visible, and he has more wrinkles in his forehead. It works. It actually works quite well. The hair sculpt is very nice, right? As you can see there. And it looks nice. The paintwork on the face is good. It's a little, I don't know if it, I guess it might be a little bit too white to my naked eye. The best paintwork is yet to come, but there's that head. Let's take a look at the other one by popping this fella off here and popping the other one on. Here is his screaming head. Just want to get that on there for you guys. This is, I guess, his look of like, oh, he's coming for me, Ray, right? When Slimer's like coming for him. And as you can see there, he actually has his trademark. You can see it better here. The pock marks on the side of Bill Murray's face, and you can see the furrows in his brow there. Expertly well done. The tongue could have been a little, just a smidge more red. The paint is a little bit, I get he's ghastly. Like, he looks a little sickish almost. I don't know what it is. But the skin texture is there, and you can see the browns of his eyes. Up next, we got Egon with his perfect pomp. And somebody in the forums asked if he actually has lenses. Yes, the glasses actually have lenses, as you can see with the reflection off the light there. And you can still see the browns of his eyes on there, and no, the glasses do not come off. What's pretty cool, though, is that the paint could have been a little better around the ear there. He's got some kind of like 5 o'clock shadow going. It's ever so slightly with the paintwork there. I'm not sure if that's accurate, but it does add another level of realism to the face sculpt, which I happen to like. You pop this head off. If you, ladies and gentlemen, will just give me a moment, I'm going to pop the screaming head on for you. I got to take a little bit of care with it, though, because I don't want to bust the glasses off, so be careful with that. This face sculpt is actually quite expressive. I like it a lot. I don't remember him ever making this face, so it's kind of weird to me. I wish they would have went with a different type of style. They all didn't need frightened and scary, like, oh my god faces. Like, oh, my friend's lying dead on the floor. Or look at that ghost coming out of the wall. I don't get that from Egon. There could have been a different head sculpt that they could have worked in. But I guess it's alright. I won't use this one, though. I'll be sticking with the other. Here's Ray. While not perfect Dan Aykroyd, I guess it serves its purpose. Again, the paintwork on this is quite alright. It works. The eyebrow work is pretty well done. And the paintwork around the head and the hair is fine. It has that Aykroyd. Aykroyd has a very particular widow's peak. I think they captured that extremely well. Alright, and let's see. That's pretty much it right there. He's got a nice little smirk. I like expressive faces. I'm glad they're not all in these like weird, just kind of boring, bored look poses. Again, if you give me a second. Sometimes these heads pop on and off, and it's not too easy to get them on and off. I like this look, though. This is one of my favorite of the alternate heads, because it has that dopey look that he has in the movie, right? Like when the cigarette is kind of just hanging from his mouth. So this one works best. This one, and I guess the Peter one, are probably the two of the best alternate head sculpts. I could see it going with this. He just needs that cigarette hanging from his mouth. That's one thing that the set was totally missing. This is adult collector line. Where are the cigarettes? I know cigarettes aren't to be promoted in action figures or something anymore, but it was a trademark of them. And I like the fact that the hair is a little bit more messed up. It's not just a different face sculpt, like face itself with the same old hair, as you can see. Kind of disheveled looking. So I like this one. It's going to look good with the goggles on it. And finally, last but not least, the everyman of the Ghostbusters, Winston Zeddemore. I gotta tell you, when I was a kid, my favorite Ghostbuster was obviously Peter Venkman, because he was the wisecracking guy, sort of the leader. But as I got older, I grew to appreciate Ray, and especially Zeddemore, a lot more. He is your working man, and now that I'm a dad and a working man, I could totally identify with this fella a lot more than I could when I was a kid. And this is also my favorite of probably all the head sculpts. I think it has the best paintwork on it. It is subtle. It is not too dark. It is not too light. It is done extremely, extremely well. The hair could have been just a little bit better, but I love the face, and I love the kind of half-smile expression. That's a big Twinkie. And the mustache is painted on well, and it's actually it's painted so well that it almost looks like it could possibly be molded on there. It's not. It's just the paintwork on there is done very, very, very well. I like it. I like the subtle changes in the skin color with the furrowed brow, as you can see right there. Love it. Perfectly captures the light when you got the lights on it, too. Wonderful. Now let's take a look at the other. Come on, fella. And when you want to put these bad boys on, sometimes it takes a little bit of time here. And there is this face sculpt, which I am not crazy about at all. It's got a little bit of, looks like a little bit of white paint on there. I'm sure I can get that off with a little bit of work. I don't remember Winston ever making this face. To me, this seems kind of a missed opportunity and a waste. Why would he look like this? Is this like when they're all looking at like the, I don't know. He should have had more of a serious face. Winston's like a man's man, bro. You know, so this is probably never going on my Winston Zeddemore figure. But there it is.
I have seen shit that'll turn you white.
Everyone's articulation and outfit is pretty much exactly the same, so we're going to cover everything here with Peter. The elbows, right, these little elbow pieces are actually done with elastic, so they stretch. That's big thumbs up. You start using that for the goggles. You'll hear me say that over and over again. And the decals are expertly done there, and the patch for the Venkman. The zipper does work. It goes up and down. The outfit is not too cumbersome, and it doesn't restrict the articulation too much. It does a little bit because it's tight and form-fitting. What are you going to do? The under bodysuit is a spandex jumpsuit, and we'll try to pull this zipper up just a little bit and get a nice close-up shot of the belt and how that looks. The belt is also plastic. There are the holders. This little hose piece that comes out of the pants, don't worry if yours is kind of warped or looks different. It's actually a wire, and it's a wire that you can move around and kind of mold and bend and stuff. See, so don't worry about that, and it holds its form. So you get it in the spot you want it, flat against his body, and it stays. There's a look at the back. The paintwork on the elbows is pretty damn good. Screen accurate, untucked pants from the boots, and as you can see there, the nice little silver buckles around the laces, expertly done. The boots are probably some of the best Mezco has done. I love the detail on the bottom of the boots, but who the hell looks at the bottom of the boots anyway? All right, articulation time. This is where it gets the big thumbs down. Everybody that hated that Joker buck, that the same buck that Ash from the Evil Dead is on, that's what these figures use. So big missed opportunity there. All right, single jointed elbows. That's as high and as far as his elbow is going to go, and that is not cool, especially when it comes to a figure like, let's say, Egon, where you want to maybe have like his hand here resting on his chin or maybe scratching his head as he's looking around his Pke Meter. Not going to happen. It also restricts a little bit of them. You're not going to be able to have him pose with his arm reached around his back, grabbing his wand there. But for those of you that know the Joker articulation, you guys know this figure. The ab crunch is this like basically non-existent. He goes back a little bit though, and the legs go up about that far without having to like really manipulate the pants and stuff because of these extra seams and patches here. That's what kind of gets in the way a little bit. You got to move things around, but you can get it up about wee high, right? It even has a zipper on the side of the boot there. How cool is that? And the knee, though, however, is I believe the knee is double jointed. Yes, the knees are double jointed. All right, so you can get him in like kneeling poses. I have the power, right? For a Ghostbusters 2 reference. He-Man, He-Man. You guys remember that stuff, right? All right, that's the articulation. Let's take a look at some other stuff. Size comparison time. Now, I wanted to start off with this shot real quick to show you guys how the old school Matty Collector figures stack up next to their 6-inch counterparts in the Mezco. And you can see that the Mezcos are much bigger. The Matty Collector figures come in at exactly 6 inches tall, whereas the new Mezco figures come in at about 6.75 inches tall. They're considerably bigger. And I want to show you guys this in front of the Ghostbusters Firehouse in case you guys still have this awesome playset from the 80s still lingering around. Let me tell you something, that Firehouse with a nice newer paint job would work probably pretty damn well with these action figures. And here are the boys all standing next to each other, and I gotta tell you, they're all pretty much perfectly in line with one another, all just about the same height with the exception of Egon over here, and that's because Egon has his trademark giant pomp on the top of his head. So one of these fellas right now is getting benched. See you later, Ray, and we're bringing in Ash, and the reason why I'm comparing them to Ash is because Ash is another regular size 6 scale 112 figure. That's another human, non-superhero type. Yes, they are all on this same buck. They all share the same buck. Unfortunately, yep, that means no double jointed elbows, but we'll talk about that in the articulation section. And as you can see, they're all pretty much the same size. So no need to compare them to other non-Mezco figures, because if you guys are watching this, you're pretty much familiar with the Mezco figures and how they scale up with other figures at this point already. I just want to start out by saying that I speak for, I think, the majority of collectors out there, that I'm not too enamored with boxes and tins and stuff, but I wanted to show you guys how massive this tin is in comparison to your average Mezco figure standing next to it, and I think that they did an excellent job with the all-black background with just that powerful symbol in the middle. You know, for you 80s heads, it's so totally reminiscent of the old-school VHS tapes where you wondered as a kid, like, what the hell, what's this movie going to be all about? And it's just such a powerful, great, iconic image, and it went with the flat black background. Excellent job. Big thumbs up. And for the sake of time constraints, I wanted to take 2 of the Ghostbusters and deck them out in their signature gear to give you guys a rough idea of what it looks like and how their hands actually grip and hold their equipment. Now, obviously, you have Egon here just kind of chilling, looking at his Pke Meter, right? It works well. And as far as Ray goes, because Ray has the most stuff, at least in my opinion, we got him holding his wand there. And this side little piece of his belt here is perfect for the trap. Now, I don't know where this piece goes, so I kind of just like looped it back around the handle here. And they don't fit in there too snug, these little walkie talkies, so they will slip out if you turn them upside down. But that's what he looks like. Oh, and as far as this thing fitting on his head, this was a huge pain in the neck to put on, just like the Catwoman one was. Right, so you got to be careful with that. And I have a feeling if you put it on and you take it off too many times, you're looking at paint rub city. So be careful, fellas. To start off the accessory section, we're going with everyone's favorite ugly little Spud Slimer. And we are going to show you guys, first and foremost, how the translucent plastic captures the light. We got the light shining right on him, nice and bright. And it'll give you an idea of how it permeates through the plastic. And in certain parts of the plastic is thicker than others, so that's where you get those shadowing effects coming from. Look at those glorious little butt cheeks. And we're going to show you the inside of the mouth if we can. There's a nice deep sculpt in there if you guys are catching that. And it even has the uvula in the back there, right? Uvula. Who the hell knows what those things are called? Leave it up to Rob Banks to let you guys know. The teeth are nice and nasty. They kind of have like a greenish hue to them as well. And the color is showing up in perfect from what I'm seeing in real life to what you guys are seeing there. The paintwork on the eyes is very nice. As far as the articulation and the arms go, they only go up and down. They don't rotate, so they're not on ball joints. That's kind of a little bit of a miss, I got to say right there. They should have been on ball joints, so you could at least have gotten his hand to his face, but you can't. So they're up and down just like that. Now, I want to mention his stand that he comes on, because this kind of plugs into his, see that? Kind of plugs up in there. Floats around. So I wish the stand was a little bit bigger. It's only that big. And again, this is hollow plastic. This should have been a little bit more solid. It kind of teeter-totters a little bit. Well, let's see. No, not really. It's actually decent. It's got some decent weight to it. It can hold the weight pretty well. What am I talking about here? Let's keep it moving. All right, we turn the extra bright lights off for this to show you guys how this thing lights up. You press that, and there you go. There's the light up effect. The light up effect is actually really, really bright. In person, it looks really nice, but this is obviously going to be on their back, so it's going to be hard for you guys to tell. That's why I'm not a fan of light up effects. And the wand in there lights up very nicely here, but it actually kind of stinks once you put the actual proton stream on it, right? So let's take this thing off and show you guys how this looks. Now it attaches through a nice small little piece right there. So you got to be careful how you put it on, right? And it fits on just like so. And the lights are still on. The lights are still on, and you can almost see how you could just faintly see that there. This does not light up at all. Even in a completely dark room, you're not getting any light permeating through this. Big thumbs down. Nice try. No mas. No good. That's why I hate light up effects. I think they should just have them lit up at all times, but I know guys like to take photography and stuff like that. All right. For the crown jewel of all Ghostbuster accessories, we give you the backpack, right? The Proton Pack. And it is definitely dry brush the hell out of it. It makes it look nice and worn. You could actually read the danger symbol on there, right? The smaller words are a little more incomprehensible. Right now, here are the, as awesome as this looks, there are some cool things about it and some not cool things, all right? Here are some not cool things. These right here are actually molded plastic. I wish they were material. I have a feeling that eventually they're going to snap, so please be careful with that. This is not padding back here. And the belt actually is also plastic. So I would not really mess with this in a cold room because the plastic will snap, right? So the belt goes in. That's a nice touch. How does it attach? It has a little slide effect right there and right there. And you kind of just slide it on there and it holds. It holds really, really nicely and tightly. And now this, the actual spring itself, is a articulated heavy wire, right? So you'll get it to kind of like sit and pose, but you gotta be careful because I'm telling you, this thing has disaster waiting to happen written all over it. As nice as it is, that's as nice as it could break and as fast as it could break. That's where the battery compartment goes in. It takes 3 of those bad boys, and they are included. Moving quite along, we have the trap. Now, the trap is very movie accurate. I like it. I like it a lot. However, the old Matty Collector trap actually opened and closed. This one does not, so I think that that's kind of a fail. Actually, the wire on this is much nicer, much more durable, that is. So here's, it comes coiled up, and you can uncoil it because it's also on a articulated wire. You can see how I'm kind of like moving it and molding it, and it's nice because you can kind of have them like just holding it and having it down like that. And there's the little pad, and again, they have nice little paintwork on that little side piece there. I know the camera's moving a little, all right? And it's done very well. It's done well, but I am, oh my God, this is just like waiting to snap. I'm telling you, be careful with that. The Proton stream itself, this is the big disappointment. Huge letdown. It's kind of like in person, a brownish, kind of orangish, really, I don't know, it's just ugly looking to me. I'm sorry. I think the color and the paintwork on this is very sloppy and not that good. In certain parts, you get a little bit of a white effect inside of the blue. Let's try and give you guys a little bit of that if you can. You see that? Right, trying not to move it around as much. However, I got to tell you that these Proton Wands were a huge, huge letdown, in my opinion. Well, the wands themselves are good. It's just the it's this other stuff that kind of stinks here as it goes on. But it holds. See? There it is inside of its thing, and it holds. It doesn't even wobble, so that's really nice. So it holds well. It just does not look that good. Every Ghostbuster comes with their trusty little Walkie Talkie. Let's get the camera to focus on that. And there is no bleed work on any of them as far as the silver knobs go, so that's done very well. And there is also a Pke Meter that they come with, and that had to be a son of a you-know-what to get the little paint dots on that, but it was also done very well. The paint on these things is perfect. They go up, they articulate down, and there's not much of a difference, though, however, compared to the old Matty Collector one, although the new one is obviously much better painted. Just for a little bit of comparison. And probably my favorite painted accessory is the goggles. If you can see, I'm going to try to keep my hands as steady as possible. They are painted really, really well, and they look like they've been knocked around and beat up a little bit. Once again, the same problem that the Catwoman goggles have. This one is also plastic, so be careful when trying to stretch this around his head. It is a huge pain in the ass, and they got to figure out a way to get like elastic on these things, so they just kind of snap right back around the head and fit snugly. And on the inside, it's just flat plastic. All right, I think that's it for the accessories. Oh, no, wait, we have the Ghost Sniffer. Sniff some ghosts, which makes absolutely no sense to me why they would come to this, because you don't get the Peter Venkman in his regular clothes, like when he goes and visits Dana's apartment. It is well done. This thing does not squeeze, but again, these wires are just waiting to pull out and break, so be extremely careful when dealing with these things, fellas. These are for adult collectors. Let's keep it moving. Forgetting to mention this in the opening, each Ghostbuster comes with their own set of hands, just like this, in this exact packaging, and they're all glossy, and they reflect the leathery gloves they wear in the movie, so they're all pretty accurate. We don't got to go into too much detail, however, the hands are all pretty much the same for each. Alright, I just want to thank everybody for joining us in this episode of the Red Cup Review, and if you're part of the family, great, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing and joining us. Alright, the presentation on the Ghostbusters is definitely 5 cups. You pop open that tin, and bam, it hits you in the head like a ton of bricks. However, once you get them in hand, they're a little stiff, and there's no double-jointed elbows, and that's really kind of knocking them down a peg. I really didn't care about that at first, but I think it's kind of weighing on me now at this point. They display great, though. They got their problems. Those neutrino blasts, ugly. Those neutrino blasts are like a quarter of a cup, man. I mean, they are disgusting. The Gimmick with the lights and effects really doesn't do that much for me either. But when you get these figures into a pose you like, they are going to display excellently. My favorite one in the mix is Ray. He looks great with all of his gear tied up onto him. And I hope you guys, I know I'm kind of dissing on them a little bit, but they do display well. When you get them into a pose you like and you keep them there, they are going to jump off the shelf. Guys, go and do yourselves a favor if you can on the aftermarket. Go try and get yourselves that Matty Collector Ghost Containment Unit, because that'll look really awesome in the displays as well. Alright guys, thanks for joining us here on the Red Cup Review. I hope you enjoy these figures as much as we do. We like them, so we hope you like them as well. Check out the CollectorZown Cantina. You can get these figures over there, and ton of other stuff you can get from them. That's CollectorZown Cantina on Facebook. Great bunch of guys over there. Thanks for joining us on the Red Cup Review, and we'll hope to see you on the next episode.